Hey everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is Locked On Sports Minnesota's Friday Roundtable. This is the Locked On Podcast Network. And of course, we got Julia Daniels, Reggie Wilson, both from Care 11, and Sam Ekstrom, the producer that does it all. We've been talking about Reggie's trip to Atlanta and just the awesome Ben Stadium food. We talked about Julia and her cat and the fact that her microphone was up to some hijinks. But with all that said, we got to get locked in. There's a lot of sports this weekend and the next week or two. Some great stuff going on. But Sam, let's get locked in on the show. What you got for us?
Vikings, Broncos, Sunday Night Football. Who are the X factors? Can the Vikings win a sixth straight? We'll tell you about that.
Outside of our Minnesota sports world, we're going to talk about what other games we're locked into this weekend.
Sorry, Ron. It's over. Timberwolves are no longer going to the Super Bowl. They lost the game. Wow.
I'm not going to lie. I did say the Timberwolves would lose that one, I think, when we did our basketball party. So I was already prepared for that loss. They still got some left in the tank. I think they're still going to the Super Bowl of basketball. But people, 2000, the Big Ten Network, I saw the Big Ten Football Conference. Everybody's been tweeting this video out of the Minnesota Gophers beating Ohio State back in 2000. Hasn't happened since. Before that, hadn't happened since like 1951. Can the Gophers make history again? Can they pull off the upset? Can they stop Maserati Marv? I don't know. But whatever kind of gas you put into a Maserati to screw it up, I hope the Gophers have it. But we'll talk about that and much more right around the corner. But I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. Well, Sam, Broncos, Vikings, tell us what you got.
All right, guys. The Vikings are catching the Broncos at the wrong time. Sometimes you get a team perfectly when they're struggling, they're injured. I think that's the opposite here with Denver. Denver is on a roll. Denver is healthier than Minnesota. The Vikings are banged up. And this makes for, I think, a much tougher game than it looked about 1 month ago. The Vikings do not have Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks is out for at least 4 weeks. Ivan Pace, undrafted rookie, has green dot duties on Sunday Night Football. That's as big an X factor as I can think of. I don't know if Anthony Barr gets activated for this week. I'm going to hold off on saying it's Anthony Barr. I think it's Ivan Pace. Ivan Pace has been phenomenal this year, but he's never been in this exact position where he's got to engineer the defense. He's got to relay the signals, and now he's got the biggest responsibility at that position group. I love the way he plays. He makes a tackle every game where he inexplicably gets around a double team somehow and hits a guy. He's really fun to watch, and I'm going to be watching him like crazy. And he might be someone that's tasked with containing Russell Wilson, too, who's a classic scrambler running around in the pocket. Ivan Pace might be a spy in some cases. So I'm watching number 40 for the Purple on Sunday night.
Julia.
All right. I think the beauty of the Vikings right now is that anyone can be the X factor, right? If we've seen in the last few games, I think the easy answer is Josh Dobbs. Everyone's rooting for the guy right now with what he's done the past 2 weeks. But I would say the X factor for the Vikings on Sunday night goes back to the sideline and Kevin O'Connell. I think he's had a year and a half with Kirk Cousins, who's not a mobile quarterback. They've kind of gotten into their system. And in the past 2 weeks alone, we've only scratched the surface of what his offensive brain is and the adventurous side of him that we haven't gotten to see before. So I think Kevin O'Connell's play calling, what they're working. I mean, we saw it last week, the Wildcat with Ty Chandler, something that we hadn't even, it didn't have a lot to do whether Kirk was quarterback or Josh Dobbs was quarterback, whatever, but it was just the adventurous side and the willing to go outside of the lines and outside of the system that he had worked on for a year and a half with Kirk at quarterback and at the helm of that offense. I think the X factor on Sunday night is Kevin O'Connell's offensive brain and how far he's willing to go outside of the lines on Sunday night. So it's going to be really exciting, I think. And I think the best is yet to come, especially now that he has a mobile quarterback and he's willing to kind of adventure out of what he's known so far as a head coach.
Reggie.
Yeah, the possibilities are limitless, right? You know, that type of offense has not seen a quarterback mobile like this before. You know, even going back to KO's days in Washington. And then, you know, you look at the Rams offense, Jared Goff, when Sean McVay first got there, not necessarily a mobile guy. And so I think it's been interesting. It's funny too, like you see him, he was mic'd up on Sunday, and when Dobbs pulled that run out of his hat for the touchdown, he couldn't even do anything. He was just like, I don't know what just happened. I don't even know. I think Dobbs even makes like his offense look even more like he's a genius. And so it's going to be interesting though. I think if you would have told me like 3 weeks ago, you know, coming into this matchup, I would say, oh yeah, I definitely give the Vikings the edge. But now with the Broncos playing well, you know, these last few weeks, Sean Payton, you know, still like, hey, look, we're still not who we think we are. You know, it's just we've gotten these wins, and you know, call that Monday nighter luck or whatever you want to call it. But you know, they're playing some good football right now, and I feel like maybe it's just because this is my 3rd season covering the Vikings. Like, I feel like, dang, like, when is the other shoe going to drop? Like, last year, the other shoe dropped when they got to the playoffs, and that game against the Giants was just terrible. You know, I believe that if Kevin O'Connell coaches this team to the playoffs, that he should be the leading candidate for NFL Coach of the Year, because this would just be an incredible job that he's done. But it's just weird. It's like, you know, Josh Dobbs was a journeyman up until this point. And I do understand, like, sometimes the change of scenery and just the right marriage works. You look at what happened with Geno Smith in Seattle. That's just working now. And maybe that's the thing with Dobbs. You know, he's gotten to the right system with the right team, and it's just working. But I think, you know, he was a backup journeyman for a reason. And you're just like, okay, when does the excitement stop? I think everybody's just kind of riding the wave. So I'm excited to see what primetime Josh Dobbs looks like. And I think, you know, he's going to be an X factor. I do think the run game, Ty Chandler, I think he's an X factor. And also now with Jordan Hicks being out, you mentioned, Sam, like, what are we going to see from Brian Asamoah? Like, this has been such a weird season for him. I'm not sure if he's even going to play with the injury he's nursing. He's kind of been nursing injuries like all year. So I'm just interested to see. I feel like this was supposed to be like his year to shine and step up. And we just really haven't seen that from him. He's been kind of relegated to special teams too when he has been playing. So kind of weird seeing a premium pick like that not really impact as you think he should.
Yeah, I agree with Sam on one thing. The Vikings, this is the worst time to get the Denver Broncos, and here's why. Second down, the defense in weeks 1 through 6 had given up 7 yards per play on second down, which was the worst in the NFL. On third down, they had given up 5.6 yards. Now, if people are like, oh, they got better on third down. Yeah, because that's because it was like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. So you don't have to go for big yards. But that was still 23rd in the NFL when you look at the average of where they were. They were in the bottom half of the league. Fast forward to the weeks 7 and 9. Their games 7 through 9, 4.9 yards per play on second down and 3.6 yards on third down. They got absolutely better on second and third down weeks 7 through 9. And they played good teams. So don't try to say like, oh, well, they played worse. No. They played some good teams and got some W's out of it. We know Mr. Unlimited, you know, when he wants to try to help out and slow the game down a little bit and keep his team on the field. So here's my X factor. Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler has to be able to run the ball, one, to keep the defense on the field for the Broncos, tire them out the way they were getting their butts kicked earlier in the season. You saw James Cook with the Buffalo Bills go for 109 yards on 12 carries. That's explosives, people. 12 carries, 109 yards, other than the fumble to start. So hopefully Ty Chandler doesn't have that. But I think Ty Chandler is the X factor for the Vikings because we know what Josh Dobbs can do. We know what Jordan Addison and TJ Hockenson can do. But without the run game, those linebackers don't get sucked up into play action. And I think that's where the Broncos have been gotten beat the most. When you think about the first Travis Kelce game versus the Chiefs when they lost. Travis Kelce went off, I think 134 yards, and the middle of the field was wide open. But why? Because you have a running back in Pacheco who is gonna hold those linebackers to kind of say, oh, we got to respect the run a little bit. I don't think people were respecting the Vikings run, but they have to now. One, Josh Dobbs can run. Two, we know Ty Chandler can run the ball. He's explosive. And so then that gives TJ Hockenson. But Ty Chandler is my X factor for this game. When you think about the FanDuel locks as well, because you can look at the runs, you can look at the points. This is one of those games where weeks 1 through 6, everybody checked it off as a Broncos loss. I even checked off the Bills game as a Broncos loss, and they won that game. And I apologize. I apologize not to Russell Wilson, not to Sean Payton, but to those people that I said bet on it because they're going to lose. I apologize to you people. But let's get some FanDuel locks in here. Start with you, Julia. What's your lock for this game?
My lock for this game is the last touchdown scorer, Josh Dobbs plus 1,000.
Last touchdown.
Oh.
Yeah, last touchdown scorer. I think we'll see a little, Kevin O'Connell talked about how they were too conservative in the second half of this last game. I think we're going to see the offense have a better consistency of aggressiveness across all 4 quarters this week. And that being said, I think it would be a pretty good bet to put on Josh Dobbs to get it done right there at the end.
Reggie.
Mr. Unlimited. I love how you put that in there. I think I'm gonna go with first touchdown scorer plus 1,000, Josh Dobbs.
Sam.
So Julia's got last touchdown scorer Dobbs. Reggie's got first touchdown scorer Dobbs.
Oh yeah.
I also have a first touchdown scorer, but there's no better time than right now for me to tell you about the promotion going on at FanDuel. So let's do that first. Right now at FanDuel, you can get $150 in bonus bets straight to your bank account when you win a $5 money line bet. Now, I'm not saying this is an absolute, but if you bet the Buckeyes against the Gophers at minus 4,500, you can win like 2 cents and get $150 in your account. So that might be a wise way to go about it. Not saying the Gophers are going to lose, but the Gophers are going to lose. You can get $150 free dollars, and then you can bet the player props, the spreads, the over-unders, the future bets, NBA, NHL, college football, college basketball now as well. So many options at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and the wonderful FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check it out today. Bet 5 on the money line. Get $150 for new customers. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. And now I will tell you my much-awaited FanDuel lock. It's going to be first touchdown scorer Jalen Nailor, who was overlooked last week. Nailor got wide receiver 2 reps. He got 67 snaps in that game. I know they get KJ Osborne back, so he's probably knocked down to wide receiver 3. But wide receiver 3 is going to be on the field plenty. I think that Jalen Nailor was overlooked against the Saints. He won't be against the Broncos. The attention's back on Osborne. It's back on Addison. I think Nailor, they call him Speedy. He's going to sneak down the sideline for a touchdown. Jalen Nailor.
He's got some juice, Sam. That one
he was great all summer and then got hurt.
Yeah, it's been tough, but Kevin O'Connell's been like ranting and raving about him like all off season, still into the season as well. So that's his guy.
Speed. Well, I'm going to get a little dangerous with mine. You all threw out some great names, and so I'm going to just take them all, and I'm going to throw it into a same game parlay. You know I love the same game parlays, people. For those looking for it, it's the SGP on the app. Just jump on the app, hit the SGP. You can get, and here's where I'm going to go with this one. I think this is going to be a weaponry of scoring type of night. TJ Hockenson, anytime touchdown scorer. Josh Dobbs, anytime touchdown score, and Ty Chandler, anytime touchdown scorer. You bet $100, people, that's going to get you, or if you bet $10, let's just go 10 on this, $280.95. That's plus 2,800 for those 3 guys to be anytime touchdown scorers. If you go back to the history of the Broncos and who they gave touchdowns up to, it's all of those guys. Ty Chandler's may or may not come on the ground. I think his might come on a big-time screen because they are susceptible to the tight end screen, double screen to the running back. So they run a split screen. Give it to Ty Chandler. Let's see that speed at work in the open field. Or it could just be a wildcat, because we know Ty Chandler has been using the wildcat. Now, Ty Chandler might throw a touchdown to Josh Dobbs. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin O'Connell didn't have that cooking up to see, like, when I motion Josh Dobbs, do they respect my quarterback out there in the slot? If not, throw the bubble to the quarterback. So, I mean, you gave Kevin O'Connell. I'm a big A-Team fan. I don't know if you guys ever watched the A-Team. The new version, though, with Rampage Jackson as Mr. T. And the one thing I love about Hannibal is he says, you give me a day, I'm good. You give me 6 months, I'm unbeatable. And you give Kevin O'Connell 3 weeks, I think this offense is unbeatable now with these weapons he has. And so that's why those are your 3 anytime scores plus 2,800. Well,
Ron, you got to be careful, man, because you're talking about Josh Dobbs catching passes. Kareem Jackson looms. You've seen what he's done this season, so be careful with that one. You don't want him going across the middle and Kareem Jackson just boom, and then it's down to Jaron Hall and Nick Mullins.
That's why you just run the bubble screen. You just run it to the or you run like what's the Philly special. So it's only a pass to the end zone. He can't get hit. Well, he could get hit. I don't know if you guys saw the Boston College targeting. That was absolutely hilarious from the back end. Funniest targeted I've ever seen. It's not funny, but it's funny. Like, that dude took 2 feet and leaped and put his head first like a dolphin jumping out the water. And then was like, wait, what, me? I did that? Like, I'm that's not target. Like, dude, that was targeted. So Josh Dobbs, don't go across the middle. Please take Reggie's advice. Just run like a bubble. Run like a fade route or something, because we want to see if the pastronaut, I don't even know the word to go with catch an astronaut. It's a castronaut.
The receptionaut.
Oh, no, Sam. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hey, one real quick thing, though, too. Dobbs has not really played. I mean, I feel like last week he got Marshawn Lattimore, but he wasn't 100%, and then he went out. Him trying to find his guys with Pat Surtain, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Like, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what that looks like, how he matches up against Addison, and the matchups that they try to take advantage of, because Pat Surtain is legit, CB1, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that chess match and how they try to get Addison off of him at times, and not really sure if JJ is going to play on Sunday.
Look out for Jaquan McMillan, too. Jaquan McMillan's having a career year in Denver. They've got a really good secondary with him and Surtain. Really tough.
And Reggie, that's a great point. The thing, if you notice in the game, Kevin O'Connell on most of his third downs ran short motion, whether it was Hawkinson, Addison. He kind of motioned guys in and out of the bunch just to help Josh Dobbs see the coverage. On one of the motions, Addison was wide open on the shallow route, and he still went to Hawkinson on the choice route. But I think that's going to be part of it too. He's going to do a lot of that motion and moving to see, like, hey, if you guys are man, I'm going to run some cross stuff to get Surtain to not be able to press my guy, and he's going to have to chase. So yeah, this is going to be a great chess match between Sean Payton and Kevin O'Connell. Wondering if he'll do the skull chant this time. Or we'll see. We'll see what kind of drama comes up out of this. I'm pretty sure they're going to show some type of Sean Payton skull chant on TV to say the last time Sean Payton. Who knows? You never know with this thing. The Rudolph push off. They might show some old New Orleans Saints stuff. But we got to jump into. I don't even want to get into this one, but we got to do it, people. We got to jump into Ohio State versus the Gophers. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I'm just going to start it off and say the Gophers percent chance to upset Ohio, and I'm going to be honest, it's like 5% chance. I hate to say it. It's a 5% chance, but that's why taking the long bet is so worth it. It's a 5% chance they beat them. I'm pretty sure there's been odds like that about number 1 teams being knocked off. Appalachian State beating Michigan. We've seen this happen before, but they have a 5% chance. Maserati Marv is clearly a Heisman Trophy candidate. They're trying to get him the Heisman. So I am praying for the Gophers defensive backs, because this is a Heisman candidate campaign. Now the Biletnikoff is his. Now it's time for the Heisman. And that's why games like this it can get real scary real fast. And I just hope that the Gophers defense understands, keep Marv out of this game and maybe you have a chance. And then on offense, you can't get into a shootout. You have to be efficient every single time. You can't expect to, if you punt 3 times, you're going to lose. I hate to say it against Ohio State. That's the clip in which they score. So I'm just not giving them a huge chance. In order to not get embarrassed, I know that was the second part of Sam's question. In order to not get embarrassed, the Gophers just have to look competent. Like, look like you're a college football team. Put something on film. Make it close down to the end. If guys remember back to Ohio State coming here, Mo Ibrahim, they almost beat Ohio State then. Mo Ibrahim tears his Achilles, and then the Ohio State starts to run away with the game. But before Mo got hurt, he was having a great first half, and they were actually on pace to win that game, and then Mo gets hurt. So I don't know which running backs are going to play. Injury right now is crazy. I know that whole Darius Taylor thing, people are saying, okay, this might be a sit out because now we can redshirt you because you've only played 4 games. The Cody Lindenberg piece as well being hurt. If he sits out now, he can just play 1 or 2 games because bowl games don't count. And then he can, get a medical red shirt because he's only played, he's played less than 4 games. So I don't really know who's going to play in this one, but I will say just look competent and then you won't get embarrassed. Let's jump to you, Reggie.
I feel like it's about to be Mortal Kombat. Ohio State wins. Flawless victory. Or fatality. It's gonna be like
man.
They're gonna get down into the, like, as soon as the ball is snapped, all you're gonna hear is the dude saying, finish him. And then it's just gonna be just, yeah, I don't see anything good happening from this. And also, Ryan, you're hilarious, okay? You are hilarious talking about they were on pace to beat Ohio State in that game. No, they were not. They were not. They ran into Mayan Williams and Mayan, who's not playing because I covered Mayan in high school. He's not playing. He's out for the season with an injury, so it'll probably be a lot of Trey Henderson. But yeah, Ohio State just has a lot, and also they probably feel disrespected that they dropped without losing or anything like that.
I mean, Gophers went to halftime up 14-10 though. Like, we thought we had it. And then Mo got hurt, and then they had a 21-point third quarter. And hey, that's a different story.
Baby, what is you doing? No, that was not that. Nope. Yep, that's why they play 2 halves, Ron. But good time though in that first half. Yeah, but
first half victory.
Yes,
bet it on FanDuel. Bet that on FanDuel.
There you go. Stop it. Stop the count. But no, I think it's gonna be just a bloodbath out there, and I'm praying for the Gophers for their health and well-being, and that everybody just comes out. I just want the Gophers to go out there and have a good time.
I will say the over-under on FanDuel is 49.5. It's definitely going to hit over on that one. It might, and it's probably going to be one team with the over 49, but 49.5 over under, 27.5 point dogs for the Gophers. I might jump into the same game parlay Ohio. I might just drive to Iowa this afternoon. I might do that.
Ron, if you do the $5 money line on Ohio State to get the free money, would pay 11 cents. I calculated 11 cents if you bet minus 4,500. I think this is a good opportunity for the sake of viral content. Can we all make a promise? If the Gophers win this game, what will we do on next week's show? I will start. I'm willing to sing with all my heart and bellow it out, the Gophers rouser, on this show next week. If they win this football game, I will get in Gophers gear. I will put on a serious face, and I will sing it from the top of my lungs if they win this football game. Would anyone else like to stake something on a Gophers victory?
I will pay Ron Johnson $5 in Monopoly money.
Bold. Very bold.
I got my lighter out. I will be in here smoking a cigar if they win this one with the champagne. I'm having mimosas. We should all have mimosas early on the show.
Friday mimosas.
Friday morning mimosas.
Yep. I love it.
With a little early morning cigar. I'm gonna light it up.
Champagne.
I might find some fireworks. There's got to be some fireworks somewhere. Like, I'm gonna light some fireworks off in the neighborhood. Like, it's got to be somewhere. I don't know what. Like, there's got to be a store with some leftover fireworks somewhere. It's got.
I'll do the show with my Ron Johnson card taped to my forehead.
I will have the champagne thing where you pop it and all the sparkles come out from Party City. Oh yeah,
look at that.
Live it up. I might do the show shirtless. If they win, I would do the show shirtless. Like, just saying.
I'll come on the podcast and openly admit to just making things up.
Oh,
wow.
controversial.
Wow.
Oh,
I feel like Charissa Thompson is looking like 50 Cent now. Like, what did I do?
Like in some sense, okay, so it's not great what she admitted to, but in some sense, don't you feel a little bad that like she went on kind of, and that's like a joke, like fun podcast, right? Like, pardon my take, and she got kind of caught up and having too much fun and then let it slip.
That's
Oh, yeah.
exactly what I was telling one of my girlfriends yesterday. I was like, she got way too comfortable on that podcast.
Yeah.
just it was still just a stupid thing to say. Even if
and
you
I've been
you know.
a sideline reporter for K-Fan like I think 2 or 3 times now, but I remember the Indiana game. I got the post game with PJ, but I didn't get the halftime with him. And so I just didn't say anything. Like I just was like, hey, coach ran in, he had to go. And so like coming out, I just gave my take. My thought was blah, 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 blah. And that's what she should do.
Say.
Yeah, she doesn't have to say the coaches said that he needs to do this. Just say
there are other things to gather as well.
Yeah.
Just
say,
so
I didn't get
people on the
comfortable.
sideline to talk to.
Preparing for a game, then you should have other storylines lined
Yeah.
up. You get 6 guys on the field. There's got to be some kind of tie-in to the
like
game.
they gave up 55 yards in the first half, and he's excited about that, or I feel like they should be excited about that because they've given up, 200 yards in the first half of the last 3 games. Like, yeah, you got to have something. You got to have some kind of stat to back it up. And yeah, I think she got caught up in the whole Barstool thing. It's just, yeah, you try to be.
At the same time, she's somebody who's paid to talk for a living, so you would think
her credibility is out of the window, bro. Like
it's like the power
get her
trip
outta
though.
here.
Like people go on the power trip sometimes and they don't act like themselves. Like they want to play up to the host and to the guests in the room. So maybe
But
And
she's
she doesn't
she's
do that
supposed to be an
anymore, right?
esteemed journalist.
She
Who knows,
the,
Sam?
She
Who
hosts
knows?
the Prime.
No,
She hosts the
I'm
Prime.
saying she doesn't do sideline anymore, right?
No, she
just
hosts
is
the
on
Prime
desk.
pre and post and halftime show. So
Yeah.
Yeah. She hosts that pre-game show on Fox on Sunday.
I think she actually said too, like that's why she got fired or something. Or I feel like she had made a comment about that.
No, she said I've said this before and I didn't get fired. So
oh wow.
Well, you know what else is, and again, I don't have total sympathy for her, but the podcast did tweet out exactly that clip and say Charissa Thompson makes stuff up. Like they screwed her too by bringing.
Yeah,
that
but you
to the
go on
forefront.
Barstool. That's what all their headlines
Yep.
are.
You're right. No, you're right. She knew what she was getting into, but apparently she said it before and did not get in trouble at all because
On
no
her
one
and Aaron Andrews podcast. Yeah.
Right. Because they're not going to tweet it out like the way Barstool did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aaron Andrews probably didn't even think anything of it. She just kept talking through it like, oh, go girl.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Get them both out of here.
Barstool's like, got her. We're going viral with this one.
Boom. Yep.
We got her.
Yeah, get them both out of here. They can go somewhere.
Oh man. And then now the comments are just bad. It's in every sideline reporter, everybody is like, and it's honestly like 90-10. 90% of the people are pissed, 10% of the people and Michelle Tafoya, by the way, she is going hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Like she's going way too hard on
Her
this.
to not be on Thursday Night Football last night.
Right. Like she's going way too hard. It's like, whoa, girl. Okay, we get it. You hate her, but man, she's over there in Edina like, oh, I'm gonna get her. Oh, bring the cake, honey. Bring me some more cake. Cake eaters. For those
I got it, Ron. You didn't need to explain.
I didn't know if Julia knew with that. That's
the cake eaters. Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's the Cake Eater Bowl for high school this weekend. You got Edina versus Eden Prairie in the state semifinals for football. It's going to be khakis versus polos. It's going to be a great one.
The Edina parents section passes around a flask whenever they score.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. So that's going to be the cut now on social media. We're gonna
Julia Daniels says all the Edina moms are drunk, and that's the only way they can get through games.
I'm not even kidding.
At Edina Hornets Athletics.
I was behind them at a game one time, and they're like, they scored a touchdown. They're like, where's the flask? And they're like, passing around the flask.
They're doing Jello shots at a high school game.
They did it right in front of my camera. I'm sure I have it on film.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's a good luck flask. Hey, do what you got to do to win games. I get it. Patrick Mahomes doesn't change his underwear. So, I mean, hey, flask or
that
underwear.
was gross, bro. Like
that's weird.
Come on,
he's
man.
wearing the same underwear to every game. And he says if he's on a heater, he doesn't wash them. Hey, okay, we get it. We are oversharing now on the internet, and I think that's the problem.
Very much so.
Like people have gotten way too comfortable.
Take me out of the group chat. I didn't even ask to be in there.
Well, the fact that Will Smith has popped up again, and now people are now. Will Smith popped up again, and then and now Jada Pickett's like, how can I top this? Like, I can't let Will be embarrassed by somebody else other than me. Like, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. Joe Smith's wife out here giving massages to Cameron. Like, what is going on in the world right now? This is a crazy world. Let's get back on sports. We went off the rails for a little bit there. Charissa Thompson, thanks to Julia Daniels.
Sorry.
Getting us off track. It was the predictions. I think we were going to Sam with the Gophers game predictions.
Yeah, I mean, I've said my piece on the Gophers. I'm willing to stake, singing a song on this show that they are going to not win. And I don't think they will win. And I think the Gophers will be lucky based on the FanDuel spread. FanDuel is predicting about a 20 or a 38-10 game. I think the Gophers are lucky to score 10.
Wow.
In this one. I've never been so confident in an outcome. So, but you know what? It would be classic Gophers to win this game and just make the losses to Illinois and Northwestern even worse. That's the one reason why they would do it to us.
Just go into my hood after that.
Yeah.
Conversation 10 points. I'm just getting my hood. Get my Jimmy Butler feelings.
He's in his turtle shell.
Need to get a blowout. Get my hair done. Get a blowout. Get my nose pierced.
And tune in to the Gophers postcast. Ron Johnson, King Rob.
I'm gonna paint my nails black. I'm gonna find a wig. If they do lose like that bad, I'm gonna come on emo. I gotta find a wig, paint my nails black. I'm gonna start the show off emo. Straight Jimmy Butler. I think Julia got skipped in all that. Julia, what do you think? Well, she said she's gonna do the Charissa Thompson.
Right. Do you have any thoughts on the game though? I didn't want to overlook that.
Yeah, I mean, Ron says 5% chance. I give him even less than that. I give him a little bit of chance because it's college football, right? But I think it all depends on what Ohio State team shows up rather than the Gophers. Darius Taylor is still
exactly.
Okay.
Darius Taylor's still questionable, so we'll see how the run game is. We'll see how also Tyler Nubin matches up with this receiving core too. And this is also a secondary that Daniel Jackson, it's the hardest secondary that he will face all season. So we'll see how solid he is and if Ethan can get things going. But I don't give him a whole lot of chance on this one. I think as long as PJ's at the helm, it's just not going to happen.
Well, wow. Et tu, Julia. Not you two. Time to move on to my favorite team right now, the Timberwolves. They're going to the Super Bowl. Reggie, what you got for me?
I don't know, Ron. Not going to the Super Bowl. It's funny. I said this on air the other night too, but the Wolves look like a team that was playing the second night of a back-to-back. Mm-hmm. And I think it was going to be hard to win a game like that, especially with how emotionally taxing that game against Golden State was. I love what we're seeing from Anthony Edwards this season as far as just him being aggressive and him being that alpha, but I really do want to see better efficiency from him from a shooting standpoint. Like his field goal percentage in these games are, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like Kobe-esque after Shaq, like when he was doing his own thing with like Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol and all that. Like he was putting up like 25 to 30 a night, but he was doing it on like 10 of 26 shooting or something like that. And so I'm interested to see how Ant just kind of rounds his game out a little bit more. But what I think the Timberwolves faithful should be very encouraged about, back-to-back strong performances from Cat, being aggressive, doing some of the things that you expect to see from a big man, taking advantage of some of the matchups that he has. Like, you're looking at the him against Kuminga against the Warriors. We won't talk about that dunk that happened on him against the Suns. That just didn't happen. We're just going to Men in Black that one from everybody's minds. But I think he's been aggressive. The shots have been falling. Like it's like, okay, cool. Like if you are going to just be content with being a 7-foot shooting guard. Like, let him go down. Like, let him at least go down. We want to see the shots fall, and the shots have been falling, and it looks good. And so if he can continue to find some consistency and can be a little bit more efficient, and the defense can bounce back and look better than we saw the other night, giving up 133 points is never going to cut it. But I don't think they're going to do that again, unless they're playing the second night of a back-to-back again. Maybe we might see it. But if they can round into form with the defense and having a better output from Cat and Ant, I think this team could continue to be dangerous and maybe go to that Super Bowl run.
Julia, what you got?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head, Reggie. But I think when it comes to Ant kind of taking this new role, and obviously he's a confident guy, but we see him be even more confident this season for sure. He's got to take a page out of Cat's book in back-to-backs, because I think that's where he struggles a lot too, is just those back-to-back games. You kind of see Ant take a decline in that second one. But if we're talking about the most impressive part, I mean, yeah, the defense wasn't there for that game, but the defense this season in general has been, obviously impressive. Top of the league type of stuff. But I also will say, just having listened to the sound from the team after that loss, I'm impressed by how different their reactions are compared to last year when they would lose. It's not so like mopey and down on themselves. It's more of like, this is what we did wrong. We know we can do better, and we will do better. And there's a lot more confidence in their game despite having just lost the way that they did. So that's what's, I think, been most impressive to me this season, is just how this team responds to the different adversity that comes with just being an NBA team and being in this league.
Sam.
Yeah, this surge by Cat is really encouraging. The last 2 weeks of Cat have been peak Cat, where the ball gets a little, it stops sometimes when it gets to Cat. He's maybe not the best ball movement guy, but if he's going to attack the way he's been, then I'm all for it. If he can ISO and dominate defenders like he's been, getting to the rim, then he can do whatever he wants. He has been outstanding. And I think the Wolves' best player, honestly, over those 5 games. I think Ant has had ups and downs and very high ups. And like Reggie said, some inefficient moments. But Cat doing what he's doing, that gives the Wolves a serious, credible offensive threat at every moment of the game. And when you've got those two on the floor together, pick your poison. Who are you going to defend? Who are you going to focus on if you're the defense? This has been a really good stretch for Cat. And even in that clunker of a Phoenix game, Cat was by far the best Timberwolf on the floor. I'm not getting too worked up over that loss. The Wolves emptied the clip in the first 10 games. They had high-stress games against the league's elite teams, and more often than not came out on top. So they were due for a letdown. Phoenix shot the lights out, 60%. That's going to happen sometimes. Now you get the Pelicans, you get Zion, and then coming up before this in-season tournament, in early December, a fairly forgiving stretch of games. So I think the Wolves can really get a nice cushion here above 500 in their first 20, and then they'll have playoff position right in front of them for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to be quick with mine. Defense. I think Julia said it. Defense. Like when you watch, and again, 60%, that's nuts. But even watching, when you see early on in the first quarter, I don't know if you guys remember this, Devin Booker gets the pick. Rudy Gobert doesn't extend to make Devin Booker have to take additional dribbles. He stands at the free throw line almost, and Devin Booker gets a wide open 3-pointer. That started the whole, like, you know what? Let's just run pick and roll, because Rudy Gobert is scared of Devin Booker. And I think the Timberwolves screwed up in that moment by not figuring out that maybe Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, Karl-Anthony Towns need to be on the court for some of these defensive stretches, and not Rudy Gobert. Because Rudy Gobert, if he's not giving you a ton offensively and he's not really going to do anything defensively, and they're trying to get his guy to switch, then you need to bring two guys in that can play and track Devin Booker off the pick. Now, Kevin Durant, good luck. Like, he was on fire. Every time he got Jaden Daniels in the post, Jaden McDaniels, like it's a 7-footer playing guard, basically. I mean, with his wingspan, his ability to get to his spot and pull up and shoot the jumper. Good luck. But can they shoot 60% every night? Heck no. So I think this is just one of those, like Reggie said, the back-to-back. I said this was going to be a loss anyway if Devin Booker plays because I wasn't sure what the load management was going to look like for the Suns. But if everybody plays for the Suns and they're healthy, the Timberwolves are tired, like I'll give them that one. Knicks, we said Knicks and 76ers, or I think, yeah, that's what they have. I think we said that one there were 2 other losses, and then they should be able to get back on the win track. I look at it, the 10 games. They can go 7-3 in these 10. Hey, I'll take it. We're still going to the Super Bowl. 7-3, book it. I think it could happen. We'll see because they got that night. That 10th game is the whatchamacallit game Sam brought up, the other play-in.
Yeah, the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think they should win that one. So 7-3. I think these East, and if they beat the Knicks, all of a sudden they were like, hey, look, they're better. They're okay. They got a little rest. But Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, you're not going to see that every week. Like that's nuts. Like that's what the Suns were hoping for every game last year. And maybe getting rid of Chris Paul. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to figure that out. Like, who's our facilitator? Who's going to bring the ball up? Devin, can you bring the ball up? Suns, we might don't count them out. They started their first 10 have been great. But if they get going, man. Now it's time for the bonus question. We got Julia Daniels. Take it away.
All right. What other games are we locked in on this weekend besides what's going on with our Minnesota sports teams? I think you guys could probably guess what mine's going to be. Even though Alabama's playing Chattanooga, I'm going to be still watching because I want to see how my team does. I also want to see them blow Chattanooga out of the water so that our starters can be rested for the Iron Bowl next week. So I'm watching to scout for the next weekend when I really will start to worry because we have Iron Bowl and then we have SEC championships.
What do you think about Milroe? Do you like Milroe?
He has taken days off of my life.
Okay.
But I like him now.
He was good last week.
He's been good the past 2 or 3 weeks, but we'll see if he can stay consistent with that because we've just started to see him really shine. I think he's exciting to watch right now. I hope that he's exciting to watch next week and the week after that as well.
Fair enough.
Sam.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a week, if you will, in the NFL. A week until
week
Monday night.
Exactly.
The Monday night game is for all the Tostitos. You got the Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch, 8-1 versus 7-2. You can watch Joe Buck. You can watch the Manning cast. You got to watch it. I mean, that's the real spectacle. And this is why the Vikings didn't get flexed out of Sunday night. It's because there's no good games. Like, the next best game is Steelers-Browns with a backup quarterback for the Browns and the Steelers, who are just the most boring team to watch. It's not a great week, but Monday night's going to redeem it. So it's not on the weekend, but I'm locked in on Eagles-Chiefs Monday night. And the game that everybody should be watching tonight, Gophers hockey against Notre Dame. Tomorrow, Gophers hockey versus Notre Dame, Fox 9, myself, Pat Micheletti. Watch that.
Pat Micheletti. Okay, Sam. Okay. Reggie.
I mean, is it any more obvious after seeing a 20-point lead evaporate into thin air last night? It is a Mizzou weekend. The basketball team got it started off right. So sorry to Ben Johnson. I love you, Ben. Maybe next one. Maybe the next one. But look, man, that was an incredible win from the Tigers last night at the barn. Crazy atmosphere. Cool environment to see a Mizzou. I haven't seen a Mizzou basketball game since I left Mizzou, so that was fun to see that there. I saw my old sports director at my college TV station.
Nice.
And so that was cool. But I'm looking forward to it. So this could be a trap type situation. My Mizzou Tigers, look, they play Florida. They should beat them because they just came off of that big win against Tennessee last week. But Mizzou is always going to Mizzou. So I'm looking forward to that game taking some years off of my life as well. So we'll see how they do against those Gators.
Go Gators. No, I'm
I don't like that.
I'm just saying, Ricky Pearsall. I don't know if you saw that one-hander. That boy is nice. He's a future Patriot if I've ever seen one.
Now look, man, Luther Burden. That's all I gotta say. Luther Burden.
But I know Graham Mertz, former Badger quarterback. He's not a Badger anymore, so I can watch that one too, because I am going to tune into that just because Ricky Pearsall, he could be the next Viking, Adam Thielen as well. He's a really good receiver out of Florida, makes some ridiculous catches, really athletic kid. Everybody's saying he's a Patriot receiver. I think Kevin O'Connell could use him in his arsenal if he's going to lose KJ Osborne, but that's
he's
totally
got
different
Thayer
question.
Thomas, Ron. Thayer Thomas is coming through the practice squad.
Hey, he might. Joker Phillips, his coach, talked highly of him and what he could do. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to that Florida one as well, Reggie. I'm not gonna lie. Like I grew up Florida Gator fan. You look at all those receivers from way back when, Ike Hilliard, Riedel Anthony. So I'm always in for Florida football. Trevor Etienne, by the way, a running back, the guys to keep an eye on as well for Florida. So the good thing about Florida versus Missouri is Florida's quarterback is not great. So Graham Mertz is not great, Reggie. So Missouri should be fine. That's why he left Wisconsin, because if you can't throw the ball at Wisconsin that runs the ball 100 times a game, you can't throw the ball anywhere. But I don't know. He's getting it done a little bit in Florida. 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So should be a good one. You guys all took the ones I was going to say. I was going Eagles Chiefs as well. I was going Florida because I love Florida football, period. And just their athleticism on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is those are the 2 games I was going to say. So I'm not going to add anything to it. I don't think, other than that, I think I'm going to watch Michigan, Maryland, just because I want to see this un-Harbaugh coach team. Like, they have to make a mark on Maryland to show. In Talia Tagovailoa, he's had some early starts that if he starts off great, they have a chance to upset Michigan. So that's a one that I think a lot of people are going to keep their eye on, because if it's close and there's an upset alert, the entire world is going to want to see Michigan lose. This is if Maryland ever wanted to get up on merch, they should sell "We Want to Beat Michigan" t-shirts, because I think the world would buy them. This is a great week for Maryland football. Stephon Diggs, EJ Henderson. I don't know who else can come out the tunnel and help them, but everybody needs to rally behind them. But that's another one. Michigan, Maryland. It's on prime time. So early game day, 12 p.m. prime time. But everybody's gonna be watching just to see what this Harbaugh-less team does. As Reggie said, he got a slap on the wrist. He'll be able to coach in the national championship and the Big Ten championship if they make it. So did they really do anything to him? No. But again, I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. That's Julia Daniels. I want you to know this is the Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast Network. We want to thank you guys for joining us, and have a great weekend.